They're on the ground again. Bob Johnson's kick over centre half forward, but it's going to Collingwood's Fellows. Fellows has been one of Collingwood's best, along with Merritt, Wiedemann, Turner and Reeves. Best for Melbourne, Thorogood, Williams, although outmatched in the last quarter by Wiedemann, Laurie, Mithun and Ridley. This is Cyril Merritt leading them all a merry dance. He hasn't run out of steam so far today. Henderson at centre half forward. Torpedo punt going down there, 50 yards from goal. Cleared by Don Williams for Melbourne across the half-back line, falling short of Ian McLean, but he scoops it up and handballs it to his teammate who comes through and clears. That's Keith Carroll clearing to the centre of the ground. Dick Fenton-Smith. Delante is number 24 trying to pick it up. Fenton-Smith on his right, and joining them in the chase is McLean. Spirited piece of defence by Delante, and Collingwood's defence has been great. Their forwards have been right up to the mark too. Thorogood holds up that advance, and his long kick is over the half-forward line. Sullivan misses the mark. Webb is scouting the pack, but Reeves scoops it up and kicks to the half-forward line for the Magpies. Don Williams gets into the arms of Sullivan. Sullivan 50 yards out from goal. He's on the half-back line. Barassi number 2, and number 3 for Collingwood is Harrison. Sullivan, the Carnival fullback, clears the ball from the half-back line towards the half-forward line and along the outer flank. Thorogood for Melbourne. And it's towards Adams, the rover. He keeps it just inside the line. Athol Webb. And it's a battle between Reeves and Ridley. Ridley took a shocking knock earlier from Sarong and hasn't been much in the game since. Webb again gets through the pack somehow, and he shoots for goal. Again, Thorold Merritt clears for Collingwood. He's playing magnificently in defence as well as in attack. Number 14 for Collingwood, just turning back in towards the camera, is Bill Sarong. Norm Smith, Melbourne's coach. Collingwood leading 81-54, and Melbourne, after a goal early, have not been able to get the ball home. Laurie Mitten for Melbourne. From the centre wing, it's over centre half forward, but gets the bad bounce. Big Fellows up. Such an awkward player, I wouldn't think he'd be able to mark the ball in any way, shape or form in these conditions, but he's marked well all day. No reserves on the field as yet. I'm surprised Melbourne haven't whipped a couple in. This is John Beckwith, their captain, who hasn't been right at home today with his game. He's let his resting rovers in for a few goals. Brenchley for Melbourne to centre half forward. Ball is cleared by Rose, Bobby Rose's brother, Kevin Rose. Now here's a break for Collingwood. It's Merritt. Gets onto his left foot. He's tackled by Beckwith and gets through. Great mark by Marquis. Wiedemann on his mark. Again, I repeat, in case you're trying to follow the players by numbers, which may be familiar to you, all numbers have been changed. Mark is taken by Fellows of Collingwood. 12-9 to 8-6, 81-54, and the Magpies are travelling like real winners of the 58 flag. Barassi on the ball now and resting in the back pocket. Momentarily takes the mark. McLean. He's found in the centre. Oh, bad play by Melbourne on the back line, but they'll get away with it. McLean, after handballing it to Thorogood, got it back again and kicks to the half-forward line. This is Crompton. They brought a reserve on. Crompton's just come onto the ground. I think they've taken Ridley off. We'll check on the time for you. This telecast through Channel 7 is the grand final. Franz Kine in the felt hat. We've had 10 minutes of play in the final quarter. 17 for Melbourne. Adams tackled from behind and knocked down too. Free kick should be Melbourne's way, I would think, to Adams. Definitely struck. Adams is 50 yards out from goal on an angle of about 25 degrees. His kick will fall short. His touch going through. It's through the behind post anyhow. The grand finals are rip snorter for sheer determination and strength in the packs. Ball is out of bounds on the Melbourne half-forward line on the members' side. It's in front of the players' race. Fenton Smith knocking away, but knocking it right down one of the Collingwood players' throats. This is young Bennett with the ball. Played very well when resting off the ball in the forward pocket for Collingwood. This is Laurie Mithun, turning into trouble everywhere, but he's clever and he gets out of it. He's put down there, and heavily too, and the kick will go downfield. Now it's starting to rain, just to add to the misery of today's conditions. Ethel Webb falling short. Collingwood 12 goals 9, Melbourne 8 goals 7. And how jealously are Collingwood hanging on to that proud record of theirs, 4 premierships in a row. It was Melbourne's chance to equal that today. The chance is still there, but it's getting slimmer every moment. Melbourne's rucks are being totally outclassed here. When they are getting the knock away, it seems that Collingwood men are sharking the hit-outs. Fenton Smith against McToomey. McToomey got it over his head there towards Harrison. Rose to Bennett, and Bennett from the half-back line for Collingwood along the members' wing to the centre wing where it's out of bounds again. 12-9 to 8 goals 7. And Collingwood looked like breaking the Melbourne hoodoo. In the last 10 times they've met, the best Collingwood have been able to do is a draw. And it's a long, long time since they've beaten Melbourne on the Melbourne cricket ground. And here's another tussle between Barassi and Delante this time. The free kick is to Melbourne's Dynamo, who has not had a good season in comparison with other seasons of his, but is worth watching at any time. Barassi's kick finds somebody in the forward pocket. Johnson. He was trying to crib a few yards to improve the angle, but umpire Nash wheels him around, and he's only about 6 or 7 yards inside the boundary line, so you can appreciate the angle. The distance is nothing, it's the angle. Oh, he's off the target. Number 12 for Collingwood there was Grieve, who is now on the field. Point forced. 8 goals 8 to 12 goals 9. Harry Sullivan to the outer wing. Adams for Melbourne. No score. Johnson got the knock away, but right into a Collingwood player's arms. It was Harrison, and he clears to the half-back line, and there it's out of bounds again. The change in the game is amazing because Melbourne got the start, and it was thought that whichever team really got the start would be right in the box seat. 9 times out of 10, that is true. Melbourne got a wonderful start. They had a couple of goals, 3 goals up before Collingwood looked like getting into any kind of form. But since that first quarter, it's been all Collingwood. Trevor Johnson for Melbourne to the half-forward line. The ball is on the wing. Mitten caught in possession. And now it's out between the half and full forward lines in that pocket on the outer wing. Fenton Smith. Again, the hit out is taken by a Collingwood player. Delanty's left foot kick is to the far wing. And around the neck paid to Bill Sarong. Sarong to the half-forward line. Williams sees it go out. Free kick to Thorold Merritt. 16 minutes of play already gone in the grand final. Thorold Merritt on the half-forward line. Melbourne still 4 goals, 1 behind. Don Williams clearing to the center of the ground. Rose takes the mark. Towards Wiedemann. The knock away goes to Merritt. Merritt's kick is into the goal square. And it's through. 1 point to Collingwood. They are now 4 goals, 2 in front of Melbourne with 17 minutes of play in the final quarter already gone. Stacks on the mill, right in front of the members' stand. Brian Dixon is there with Keith Carroll for Melbourne and Ken Turner for Collingwood. Alan Nash about to bounce it up 10 yards inside the boundary line on Collingwood's half-forward line on the members' side. Dixon, kick off the ground by Mick Toomey towards young Bennett. Bennett tackled by John Beckwith, and Beckwith gets the kick. Beckwith to the half-forward line. It's a long, raking punt kick. Goes further with the bounce, and Harry Sullivan turns the attack towards Delanty. Delanty and Bob Johnson in the picture now. The ball is on Melbourne's half-forward line on the members' wing in front of the Olympic stand. Mick Toomey over the head towards Rose. Rose gives it to Gabelich. Gabelich kicks to the wing, but there's nobody at home for Collingwood, and Mitten marks and quickly gets on with the job for Melbourne. It's down there to the forward line, where a lovely mark is taken by Sullivan again. He was the last line of defence at that moment. Had the ball gone through, it would more than likely have been a goal for Melbourne. Bob Johnson being whistled back off the mark, as Sullivan is content to take his time. Time's all in Collingwood's favour. Sullivan kicks it wide, the sensible thing to do. Barassi kicking. Number 15 for Collingwood there is Rose. Gabelich on the left, Barassi number 2, Bob Johnson at the top of the picture on the right. And this is right where the number 1 fiery incident in the match took place. Gabelich going through the pack and kicking to the half-back line. Don Williams, a nice balk, and gets his kick in too. It's going down into the forward pocket. Crompton on his 19th for Melbourne gets his first kick. It's high and it's towards the square. And Louis Adams tried to kick it off the ground, and it's forced through for 1 point. That's the score at the moment in the grand final, being telecast through Channel 7, and Studio will ask you to take it again. Team, certainly the boil-over of the year. This is young Bennett. Collingwood, and Tunbridge is getting a free kick from right on the boundary line. Distance is nothing. Again, it's a matter of accuracy. Right across the goal front. Melbourne can't do a thing right. And Collingwood reaping the benefits of their most determined play. Dixon, usually number 9, tries a drop kick, one of the few we've seen today, and that's Barassi chipping right in front of Rose. Had they collided, they both would have been out for 6 months. Barassi between the half and full forward lines. He's 50 yards out from goal. His kick is going into the goal square. And a kick through. That's a goal. Been allowed to Crompton. We'll check the time. Melbourne 3 goals, 1 behind. 3 goals, 1 in arrears. 22 minutes gone. And Fenton Smith's left foot kick finds Athelwebb. Athelwebb on the half-forward line, up on his feet. Handballs to Crompton, who stupidly called for it right in the middle of 2 Collingwood players. And Noel Smith just about tears all his hair out. Norm Smith in the centre. Players are tired. It's been a hard slugging match. The vigour has been enough to satisfy the thirst of those who would expect a lot in 5 games. Reeves, young Reeves, marking at the back of the pack. No team has been able to beat another team 3 times in the one season this year. And it seems that that record is being kept alive by Collingwood turning the tables on Melbourne today. The game's not over, but it's very close to being over for the Demons, who, after being the favourites right throughout the season, are in dire danger of being well and truly toppled by Collingwood. 12-10 to 9-9 in the grand final. We've had 23 minutes of play now, 23 minutes of play, and it's a matter of time, it seems. Reeves clears towards Sullivan. Sullivan gets the mark just inside the boundary. Another good player for Collingwood today. When a side wins a premiership, all its stars play well. You don't win them unless you do play well. Now watch the ruck duels closely again. It's Fellows against Bob Johnson. Fellows again gets the knock, playing in front all the time. Rose with the ball. Kick off the ground by Henderson towards Carroll for Melbourne and his immediate opponent in Beers, but it's out of bounds right in front of our number 1 camera position, which is right in front of the Melbourne coach's bench. This is Henderson with the ball. Still got it. Good play. And he finds, or he nearly found Merritt. And Carroll and Beers are in the picture too. Dixon for Melbourne. Tackled by Turner with the ball out of bounds. 12-10 to 9-9. And the crowds are starting to make their way out of the stadium. Trevor Johnson for Melbourne. Collingwood have closed this game up most successfully on the back lines. This is the Collingwood camp. Trevor Johnson on the half-forward line for Melbourne. Good kick too, right down into the goal square. Nobody at home to mark it. Melbourne have been completely outmatched in the air. Outmatched in the air, in the ruck, and around the packs. Beers, tackled by Carroll, was brought back 15 yards. There's a penalty for making an infringement of the rules after the mark had been taken. To the half-forward flank on the members' wing. Collingwood again in the air. Wiedemann takes the mark, but he has it taken from him. It's going Melbourne's way. Something must have gone on behind the play, and it's Peter Marquis getting the kick. Marquis to the centre wing. Thorold Merritt gets his kick to half-forward. Williams. That was Brenchley putting it over the line. Out of bounds. Mike Delante didn't think so. He was the one who scooped it up and kicked it for Collingwood. But the ball comes back. After 27.5 minutes of play, it's still Collingwood 3 goals in front. Brenchley sandwiched. Players are very tired. McLean kicks to the half-forward line. Rose's kick. You've got to take your hat off to these Magpies. Fantastic. They lost 3 of their last 4, if you don't count last week's game. Still held on to second place, more by a miracle than anything else, as their own supporters will agree. And now, after being down throughout the finals and having to come out for 3 hard games in a row, they've bobbed up to win the grand final. Fenton Smith. Ken Turner, been one of Collingwood's good players again today. He's had a great season. Again, a free kick in the pack to Peter Marquis. "29 minutes gone. There's the siren. The Magpies have done it. The last time was 1953. They've saved their proud record of 4 straight wins. Thorold Merritt and Bennett, the 2 Rovers who played such a great part in the win too. Sign of delirious excitement.
Half minute to the final quarter.